Welcome. This is Cheating Tale Stories. I thought giving my wife space meant time apart, but I found her tangled in our bed with my best friend of 15 years. My name is David, and this is the story of how two people I trusted with my life destroyed everything. I believed in during one ordinary Tuesday afternoon. Lila and I had been married for 8 years. We met in college, dated for 3 years. And I genuinely believed we had the kind of marriage people envied. Sure, we had our rough patches. Every couple does. But we always talked through our problems. We always found our way back to each other. Or so I thought. About 6 months ago, Lila started acting different. Nothing dramatic at first. Just small changes. She'd stay up later, scrolling through her phone with this secretive little smile. She'd shower immediately when she came home from work, which was new. She used to collapse on the couch first, complaining about her day at the marketing firm where she worked as a project manager. When I asked about the changes, she'd brush me off. Just trying to take better care of myself, she'd say. You should be happy about that. I was happy. I thought my wife was going through some kind of positive personal growth phase. I was proud of her for prioritizing self-care. The first real red flag came when she started mentioning girls' nights that I'd never heard of before. Lila had always been more of a homebody, preferring quiet dinners and Netflix to bar hopping. But suddenly, she was out 3 nights a week with coworkers I'd barely heard her mention. It's good for me to have more social connections, she explained when I expressed surprise. I've been too dependent on you for my social life. That stung a little, but I tried to be supportive. Maybe she was right. Maybe we had gotten too comfortable in our bubble. Then came the conversation that changed everything. It was a Sunday morning in March. We were having coffee on our back patio, something we'd done every weekend for years. The morning was crisp, and I was feeling grateful for our quiet life together. I reached over to take her hand, and she pulled away. David, I need to talk to you about something. The tone made my stomach drop. It wasn't angry or sad. It was distant. Clinical, almost. I think I need some space, she continued, not meeting my eyes. I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I feel like I've lost myself in this marriage. I need time to figure out who I am outside of being your wife. I stared at her, trying to process the words. Space like, what kind of space? I think I should stay at my sister's place for a while. Maybe a month or 2. Give us both time to think about what we really want. My first instinct was to fight it, to ask what I'd done wrong, to promise I'd change, to beg her not to leave. But something about her demeanor stopped me. She seemed so certain, so resolved. And honestly, I was afraid that pushing would only make things worse. If that's what you need, I said quietly, then I'll support you. She looked surprised by my response, maybe even disappointed, but she nodded and squeezed my hand. Thank you for understanding. This doesn't mean I don't love you, David. I just need to find myself. She packed a bag that afternoon and left for her sister Jenny's apartment across town. The first week was hell. I threw myself into work at the construction company I managed, staying late every night to avoid coming home to an empty house. I called her a few times, but our conversations were stilted and awkward. She'd ask how I was doing in this overly careful way, like she was talking to a distant relative. My best friend Connor was a lifesaver during those early days. We'd been friends since high school. 15 years of shared history. Countless nights playing video games. Being each other's best men at our weddings. His wife Rebecca and Lila had become close friends too, making our friendship even more solid. Connor would come over most evenings, bringing beer and takeout. He'd listen to me vent about missing Lila, about not understanding what went wrong. He seemed genuinely concerned, offering the kind of practical advice that only comes from someone who knows you inside and out. Maybe this will be good for your marriage in the long run, he said one night as we sat on my couch, watching a basketball game. Sometimes people need to step back to appreciate what they have. You think she'll come back? I asked. Of course she will, man. You guys are solid. This is just a phase. His certainty was comforting. Connor had always been the optimistic one in our friendship. seeing silver linings where I saw clouds. If he believed Lila and I would work things out, maybe we would, 2 weeks into the separation. I decided to surprise Lila with flowers. Not to pressure her to come home, just to let her know I was thinking of her. I stopped by the florist near my office and picked out a simple bouquet of tulips, her favorite. But when I got to Jenny's apartment, Jenny answered the door with a confused expression. "Oh, hi David. What are you doing here?" "I brought these for Lila," I said, holding up the flowers. "Is she home?" Jenny's confusion deepened. "Lila? She hasn't been staying here, David. I haven't seen her in weeks." The world tilted slightly. "What do you mean she hasn't been staying here? She said she was staying with you." "No, she. David, are you okay? You look pale." I mumbled something about a misunderstanding and left, my mind racing. If Lila wasn't staying at Jenny's, where was she sleeping? And why would she lie about it? That night, I called her. She answered on the 4th ring, and I could hear music in the background. "Hey, David. What's up?" "Where are you, Lila?" A pause. "I'm at Jenny's." "Why?" "I stopped by Jenny's today. She said you haven't been staying there." The silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. "Lila?" I can explain. Jenny's been having some personal issues, so I've been staying at a hotel sometimes. I didn't want to worry you with the details." It was a reasonable explanation, but something about her tone felt off. She sounded nervous, caught. "Which hotel?" "The Hampton Inn on 5th Street. David, why are you interrogating me?" "I'm not interrogating you. I'm your husband, and I'm worried." "Well, don't be. I'm fine. I'll call you tomorrow, okay?" She hung up before I could respond. I should have driven to the Hampton Inn that night. I should have trusted my instincts. Instead, I tried to convince myself that I was being paranoid, that the separation was making me suspicious of innocent explanations. 3 days later, I got my answer in the cruelest possible way. I'd forgotten my wallet at home and had to leave work early to get it. As I pulled into my driveway, I noticed Connor's truck parked on the street. That was strange. He usually parked in my driveway when he came over, and I hadn't invited him over that day. I walked up to my front door and noticed it was unlocked. Even stranger. I always lock the door when I left for work. I opened the door quietly, calling out, "Connor? You here?" No answer. I walked through the living room toward the kitchen, thinking maybe he was in the backyard. That's when I heard it. A sound that made my blood turn to ice. Lila's laugh. Coming from upstairs. From our bedroom. My legs felt like concrete as I climbed those stairs. Each step seemed to take forever. And yet I was moving too fast, rushing toward a truth I wasn't ready to face. Our bedroom door was cracked open. Through the gap, I could see clothes scattered on the floor. Connor's shirt. Lila's dress. A dress I'd never seen before. I pushed the door open. They were in my bed. My bed. Lila was straddling Connor, her hair falling around her face as they moved together, in a rhythm that spoke of familiarity, of practice. This wasn't a first time. This was a routine. For a moment, I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process what I was seeing. The two people I trusted most in the world, betraying me in the most intimate way possible, in my own home. Connor saw me first. His eyes went wide with shock, and he said something that made Lila turn around. When she saw me standing in the doorway, she didn't scream. She didn't scramble to cover herself. She just stared at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Resignation mixed with something that looked almost like relief.